Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. So, just waking up, about to start my day. I don't feel good. I don't feel like I want to move forward. Why? Because it seems like a lot of things, a lot of examples around me are, it's almost as though there's so many things that threaten to dissemble me. And I feel like there are assignments of trying to dissemble me. And it's in my head and it's in my gut. And that's when I know something's not right somewhere. Oftentimes, I think people might think when someone is high vibrational, they're probably like on drugs or doing something. And I've always shared with people, even through my history, my journey of going through the dark tunnel, there was no comparison to this awakening process, to this ascension. Like, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like, there's no type of sedative, medicine, beverage, there's nothing that can compare to what comes out of your mouth, especially when you channel messages and things like that. I just think a lot of people, in general senses, don't know what's going on with me particularly, or what's up with me particularly, because what they perceive or what they're picking up or what they might feel I'm incapable of doing, it becomes an infliction on my timeline. So, example, yesterday, the crows wake up with me, by the way. So yesterday, I was feeling like a little bummy because I had to adjust to a new timeline. I was looking forward to having a new position at work, and turns out it got removed. No one said anything to me. Nobody said a word. I was training for this for a very long time. And then I saw an email by a colleague that he was going to be transferring into a certain location and he's going to be working full time. That was his, as he said in his email, eventually achieving my goal of being there full time. I was like, you trying to disip that? What? So, and then there comes things like, let's say, I'm trying to keep this as general as possible, but in my journey, start to finish, even with the twin flame that comes in my life time to time, when people have these gifts and they want to share their insight, they want to contribute compassion, they want to help you be your better self, what happens is there's an overload of, what happens is when someone connects to me, because I'm a conduit, because I'm constantly receiving them, I never shut it off. Between me and source, me and higher self, not my higher self, the higher self. Of all the messages that I've received, all the knowledge and wisdom I received, I've never cut that conduit off. And what's happening when people try to connect to me, when they channel or they try to read onto something, they're getting a flood of data as well. And then there's also convoluted messages too. So I have a picture to describe this. So this is me and I'm drawing a picture. And what happens is all the assignments, the archon attachments, or even the ones that are, where's my pen? The ones that are coming in, the ones that people intend for me not to achieve, let's say in the work environment, um, someone found out their daughter is getting divorced. I need you to teach a good class for me because I'm going through so much right now. Or the person who shows up new to my class. I suck at dancing. I can't, I'm just going to do what I can. And then they end up leaving because they know they're not bad. They're not good at dancing. Let's say a song had a curse word and then someone got mad at me. I don't like that song, don't play it again. And then someone goes, oh my gosh, you're skinny. Like, you're losing weight. And then I will say, I do 14 cardio exercise sessions a week, nonstop. Yeah, but you should eat more. You see, all these things are inflicted on me. Or let's say on my YouTube channel, I channeled a message and someone's like, he must be on something to get that information. And these are things that people think, oh, well, you just let them roll off your back. All of these chords that I just drew, they're things that I don't know of, I'm not aware of. Some of the ones that are verbal, directed to me, I understand, I get it, and I can filter. But the ones that are unseen are the ones that I cannot defend, I cannot protect. And people out there think it's easy to just guard yourself and protect yourself. No, it's not. When people acknowledge that you're a healer, when they acknowledge that my stomach's turning, when people acknowledge that you're a healer, they acknowledge that you have a gift, it kind of opens the channel. So if we think in terms of that is my friend, that is my loving companion in this journey, it kind of heals, it sends a cord of healing. And I think a lot of times we focus too much on, and I'll admit myself, we focus too much on all the super normal things to be our embedding of healing. But it's really each other. I think if we express my compassion and love for you as a friend, I mean, I love people immediately because sometimes it just makes sense. People they get you, you get them. But the problem that I've always had as a person, I've never been close to people because in general senses, my friends that I've always had, they grew differently than me because I'm constantly learning who I am every day. I'm constantly evolving, changing and shifting and editing and tweaking, and not that tweaking, but you guys know what I mean. Being more articulate, my approach to life, not creating more filters, but creating a better approach to a lot of stuff. And also too, when it comes to like this department of self growth and self-care, self-love, what's happening is I see a lot of people who don't put their face behind their words. And I think I commend myself for putting my face behind my words. But then there's pushback. There's quite a bit of comments, especially from my family. They'll say, why do you put your business out there? Why do you tell everybody everything? And it's like, well, if I don't release what has been inflicted on me, I go through a timeline of suffering. And I'm just tired of suffering. I'm tired of taking on these learning lessons because they've been projected onto me. And then it's almost like when you manifest, when you see something and that is the goal that you want to get there, you make it happen. The laws of attraction, same thing. But it goes the same way when someone says something out loud. And this happened yesterday. One of my clients, she said, so how's your promotion going? And I was like, I feel like it's not going to go the way that there was proof. There's literally like a kiosk where I can log in and the title changed. So maybe it's just the big trick that everyone's going to surprise me later. But she was like, see, I told you. I told you when you told too many people, you're going to lose your blessing. And it was like, oh, I've known her for 6 years. And that's something I don't want to hear from somebody that I love. She's like, oh, I knew you were going to lose it because, you get so excited to want to share so much with everybody. And then when you share things with everybody, then your blessings get taken away from you. And that, boom, that was only 1 p.m. yesterday. I was done. And I don't know how people expect someone like me who's extra sensitive and caring to just be like, oh, girl, stop your tripping. Those things settle because it makes you think, what are they thinking? What is going on in their mind over time? What are they observing and what do they predict? And it's almost like they don't even want the best because they never think or intend the best on you. So that really hurt. I'm just trying to hold my water back from my eyes. And that's all I've been feeling. I've been doing these different mantras and prayers and blessings the last 24 hours. And the side effect of that is I'm feeling shame, guilt, remorse, which is probably supposed to happen. She always interrupts me when I'm on the phone. Girl, bye. Thank you, bye. I've been doing a lot of different healing, and I actually just put a playlist together on YouTube, and I put my headphones on, and I fell asleep. And I felt really good, but then I kind of woke up this morning feeling like this. My neighbor sneezed. You really shouldn't say much today. And then I can feel like people from class. I really hope he doesn't talk while we're in a dance class. We need to just dance. And then there'll be the 5 people who know what's going on in terms of my status of employment and what they're thinking, what they know is going to happen, but they don't want to tell me. And here I am, not aware of all these chords, but I can feel them. And the thing about it is, people forget also that some of us live in different vicinities of the country. I live in Los Angeles. The frequency is constantly low. The frequency is constantly bombarded by so much crap. And Hollywood, their frequency, and people will say, well, don't focus on that. Yeah, you have to, because if they created ley lines of all this destruction, chaos, song lyrics, whatever, you have to think in the big picture. If someone is going to read or channel or try to play psychic on people who are gifted, they're going to pick up on a lot of entities that are not even in the household of the person who's gifted. So even living here alone, knowing what's going on the outside world, this is like calm. This is really peaceful. This is a safe haven. But I think sometimes when we focus too much on our job at hand and we're trying to dictate who's good or bad and who's going through what, and if we're playing savior all the time, we end up corrupting our internal. And that's one thing that I really learned this year alone was it's not our job to play hero. It's not our job to be a savior. It's not our jobs to be walking like we're gods. We are in this divine image, which is we're just supposed to be in the moment and welcome enlightenment and welcome that intervention of love. And we're just supposed to speak from that source. But I think when we speak from, I see what's going on, and then there's these messages that go, around the gifts, then that's when I think there's misunderstanding amongst a lot of people. Even like there's time, like what was it, on Monday, I felt nauseous and I was doing my class, and somebody who's intuitive takes my class, and she's like, "Are you all right? I just feel like, things aren't going too well with you, and I just want to pray." And I'm like, "Whoa, pause, girl! Like I had some hot wings, and Bonquisha is not feeling too well in the tummy." I even had a post the other day, and I talked about my walk of shame, and it was just the term that I used. But as I was saying, like, this was a kind, genuine person who actually wants to get to know me, and is a hardworking individual who is a happy person. And I think that's the aspect that a lot of times we don't see the nucleus of the situation. We just look at the outcome, or we have our own references that we acquire to reading something. And words have triggers, and words have frequency. So that's all I really wanted to share with everybody, was that I use my own life experiences as a tool of seeing what is going on, what the shift is going on, what the hello is going on, what the halo. I do feel that our frequency connections and whatnot, that Saturday's a very funky day. I already know this because I've done the reading for this week. And I forgot to text my cousin happy birthday yesterday. Oh no. Oh no. Anyways, I'll let you guys go. But I want everybody to remind themselves of this picture here. We can just focus only on the prize. And then there's some of us who are aware of all the things around. We focus too much on that we get distracted off of that. And then there's a perspective of there is already something benevolent already fighting for us. So we need to just be sometimes. It's a hard thing to understand and learn. It's a hard thing to acquire. But we got to do it. And see, when I'm instructed on this here, I have to have a realization and a release. This video is my release. This is how I understand. There's no other way to understand my journey personally if it's not in the form of putting it out to where I can understand it. The only way I understand things is if I open the channels and let the divine utilize my voice box to bring me to a form of awareness. If I just sit here and I absorb, then I'm my human self. I start to stifle. I start to get upset and frustrated, and then I start pointing fingers, and then I start feeling that no one understands me. Then I go back to an old timeline. Then my frequency drops low. So when you're a high vibrational being, it's very dangerous to not be aware of a lot of stuff. And especially when people say, oh, don't let it get to you. Oh, just stay inspired. They don't understand that, like you guys know, I slept like at least 6-7 hours, but I don't look like it. Why? Because I astral projected. Anyways, I actually astral projected to an old timeline when I worked at Target. I was learning the cash register. It was pretty cool. I actually went back in time, and I had a little bit of some piece of what it was as a 17-year-old working at a cash register. Little did I know that everything would come to this today. So that's a happy moment. These are happy tears that it was nice to experience being young, innocent, not knowing that dark tunnel, not knowing. In order to embrace the light, I had to embrace affliction and torment in this matrix. The parrots agree with me. Anyway, have a good day, everybody.